In the last chapter, we learned about creating an XML stream in the XML Raw mode by creating a query that looks like this. I'm going to run this, look at the results, and we notice we get each row in a tag called row, and all of our data is in attributes. Let's compare that to the output of the XML Auto mode. Select star from location for XML Auto, and it'll look quite similar. Let's run this and open. And it's basically at this point exactly the same as the XML Raw, except for notice one thing. The tag is not named row, the tag is named after the table. Okay, let's close this out. So, you'd think that if I were to put the tag location here for raw, it would be exactly the same as auto. That's true if you're only selecting from one table. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Yep, the XML Raw can be overridden, so it doesn't say row for each element. It has the actual name of the table. For a single table select in the XML modes, XML Auto appears to be the same as XML Raw if you override the name of the top-level element. Let's look at some of the other options that go with XML Auto and Raw. Let's start off by running this query that looks at all of the records from the location table. It looks like we have 4 locations: Seattle, Boston, Chicago, and Spokane. Now what we want to do is join this table to the employee table on the location ID. And let's itemize our fields. We just want city, first name, and last name. Let's run that. Okay, we get 12 records, and we get the employee's first name, last name, and the city that they're located in. Now, let's do the for XML Raw mode and see what that looks like. Okay, each row is called row. All the data is in attributes. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Now what happens if we change it so we don't want it to be called row? We want it to be called location. Okay? Each row is called location. Now, if it was auto, it would have been named after the table. In this case, we explicitly chose the name location. But there's 2 table names there. What would it have been called in auto mode? Let's take a look at that and run it. Now, is it called location or employee? The answer is both. The location is in the location tag, and the employee data is in the employee tag. So here's another difference. Auto allows nesting. Raw does not allow nesting. What do we mean by the select list order determines the nesting levels? Well, notice we have a location table and an employee table. Now, city comes from the location table. Therefore, since this field is listed first, the location table will become the parent table. Let's examine our results. And notice location has employees listed in it. Okay, let's swap it so that the first name comes before city. Now remember, first name is from the employee table, city is from the location table. Let's run this. And notice we now have employee and all of its attributes with city as a child underneath it. Let's go back to our query and let's go ahead and add a root. We want to make this well-formed XML. Here's a simple way to put the root in there. Now we have a root at the top, we have all of our location tags, and we have an ending root down here. We now have well-formed XML. But root might not be the name that you want to call the root. Let's name our root after the database, which is JProCo. Let's go ahead and run this. Okay. We got a JProco beginning root tag and a JProco ending root tag, and everything is inside of it. Now notice I've got Seattle, and I've got Alex and Barry, Boston, Lee, and then Seattle is David and Eric. Wait a minute. What if I wanted David and Eric up in this Seattle tag along with Alex and Barry? In other words, bunch everything together more efficiently. Well, you can do that, but the natural sort of this table is not doing that for you right now. So what we're going to do is between the on and the for, we're going to do an order by, and we're going to choose city. Let's go ahead and run that. Let's see how this looks. Aha. We have the city of Boston and all of the employees listed as elements below the top level location element for the Boston attribute. Seattle, all of its employees are nested under Seattle, and the city Spokane, the 2 employees are listed under it. Time for Lab 2.1, Skill Check 1. Write a query from the employee table and join it to the grant table. Your field select list should include the employee last name, first name, grant name, and amount. Use the For XML Auto option and order by to achieve the following results you see here. Skill Check 2. Write a query from the location table and join it to the employee table. Your field select list should include state, first name, and last name. Make sure the results cluster the employees by state. Also make sure each employee within each state is listed alphabetically by last name. Use the For XML Auto option and the Order By clause. The XML stream should be well formed and include a root called emp-loc report. When you're done, your result should resemble the figure you see here.